All right, hello everyone, and welcome to a special report here on the latest on the flooding that we've got here across Wave Country today. Flash flood warning, considerable warning tech continues for the Louisville Metro as we're dealing with rounds of this very heavy rain here across Wave Country moving through the area. We're going to go through the radar views, a couple of live reports and where things stand on the flooding and what to expect as we continue on through the rest of the afternoon. Hello everyone, I'm Wave meteorologist Brian Good. Appreciate you joining us. It's about 12:36 here on this Tuesday. Messy one at that, and a lot of very heavy rain, of course, falling in the area, leading to some water rescues and, of course, a number of accidents, too, that have taken place. So a couple of things to cover. First off, let me show you the radar trends. This is where we're at with the system. It's actually more of a cluster of tropical moisture. They got fed in from the leftovers of Imelda. Remember, Hurricane Imelda was way out in the Atlantic. Its tail of moisture actually got pulled all the way around, almost a complete U-turn, and got pulled right into the Ohio River Valley, leading to this soaking rain that we've had, produced some flash flooding here into the Louisville Metro, especially even parts of central Kentucky, same storyline. But areas to the north, you're a little more separate from that, a little more of a front. You're mainly getting rain from that section of it. Let me get you into where we are with the warnings. Flash flood warning with that considerable tag does include the Louisville area. You can see it's still raining heavy right along that path. That particular warning will be out until 2:15. It includes, again, Louisville, but there's a secondary flash flood warning that also came out. I mean, you should take all of them seriously, right? But this one, not as much of an urban setup, not as much of a population, so the impact's reduced compared to an urban setting where a lot of the streets, a lot of congestion in the streets in the city, especially near downtown, are going under. More problems develop with that when you get into that scenario. In fact, we've had a number of water rescues, high water issues ongoing, anywhere from around downtown Louisville over into areas around even St. Matthews, over into Shively. In fact, our Logan Perone has been standing by. He has been covering the very latest on some of these downpours in the area. And Logan, first off, you're in the storm tracker right now. What did you come across as you left Wave and got into the thick of it with the rain moving in?
Well, first and foremost, Brian, we actually had gone to Lynn Family Stadium. We're covering news over there, and it was just pouring down. We saw puddling all up on Lynn Family Stadium on the turf there. And as we're gathering there for our newscast, we actually were told, hey, you got to go. So I want to take you outside right now to show you exactly where we went. First, this is actually our second stop. This is 13th and Oak Street. We were told by an officer at 9th and Oak that there was a car underwater. This ain't quite underwater, but again, definitely not where you want to be if you're a driver right now. So a lot of these roadways on this side of town, especially on Oak, down in this section of where we are in Louisville, you have a lot of roads that go like this. They dip down, the water collects when we get that heavy rain. I know that you had just been on Wave News at noon talking about the drainage issues. So that's what we're seeing outside. We also saw the same thing over at 9th and Oak as well. It was puddled. We were able to actually get an overhead look over. Don't believe we have that video queued up. But again, we were looking over and there was directions, all four directions. Traffic had to turn around. There's just no way to drive through this. Otherwise, we're going to see more scenes like this.
And, we've been talking about other parts of the area where we've had tape up. Some folks have been trying to get past some of these borderlines because the tape that is up. They're in a hurry. They're trying to get somewhere. Have you seen anything like that at all? Or is everyone just staying away and seeing the obvious tape that is up and says, you know what, I'm going to choose a different route?
Yeah, well, you know what? It's been more of the looky-loos. They're coming, they're stopping. We've had a couple people get a little frustrated with this because it's almost that feels like every other intersection they're trying to get through either under this, bridge that you had seen or, in our case, it was actually the exit that goes down in was blocked off by tape at 9th and Oak. So what you're really looking at is a bunch of people who are just turning around. LMPD was actually out at 9th and Oak directing traffic. We don't see any on our side here at 13th and Oak other than that big line of tape that is right in front of our vehicle. Because again, you don't want to end up like this person. You don't want to end up in a situation where you're just, hey, I can get through a few inches. You think it's a few inches, and then the next thing you know, your entire front end's in the water. So fortunately, we haven't seen anyone try to make it through. We haven't tried to make it through. We know a little better. And yeah, so far, everyone seems to be not trying to get through that caution tape. They're avoiding this, but definitely a lot of looky-loos, trying to get a look at what's going on.
A lot of looky-loos, yeah. All right, Logan, I appreciate it. I know you've got other areas you're trying to check out because we had so many reports that came in. Please be careful out there. If you see anything else, pass it on. I'll be live here for a bit longer and just chime in, and I'll come back out to you there. So, again, that's our Logan Pearl reporting live right now in downtown as we've been dealing with some of the flooded roadways in and around town. So, one of the school buses there turning as well. Yeah, some of the school bus routes, at least for part of the afternoon, may be altered a bit as we head. And Logan, if you don't mind just keeping your camera going, yeah, you don't have to worry about your mic, but if you keep the camera going for a while, so we can kind of monitor the feed every once in a while, I appreciate it. But you can see, yeah, one of the Miller transportation buses turning around. No injuries being reported in this area right now, but we do have so many folks that are out and about right now for lunch, especially. And you see one of the semis coming in. Yeah, just one of those things you just don't want to deal with, right? Turn around, don't drown, don't mess with it. And some of these viaducts are known for this. They flood so easily that sometimes it can catch you off guard if you're not paying attention there. All right, let me get into a couple updates on the radar that we're looking at for this afternoon. Where we go from here? Well, we talked about the flooding that's been reported around Shively, downtown Louisville, 7th and Magnolia, over toward Hill Street, also into St. Matthews, same storyline. And oddly enough, another issue that we're working on is breaking news that there was a plane that somehow left the runway or skidded off the runway. We're not entirely sure of the details of this. Runway 33, I believe it is, at Bowman Field with 4 people on board, landed on the Seneca Golf Course. We do have crews right now working on that side of the story too. And that happened actually when I was live with you all with the blog earlier today. It was happening at that point. So a lot of things happened at once with that heavier rain moving through the region. Okay, so we got the alerts that are out. We've got our crews scattered everywhere. I've got feeds I'm monitoring. So if I see anything pop back up, I'll come back to you guys and show up. But look at these rain totals. And some of these are probably not reading the full, like that half-inch amount that's randomly there around, say, Linview. I'm a little suspect of, but there are certainly some very high totals here. I know at my house, I'm crossing 4 inches now into southern Jefferson County, but we've got definitely a spike that's been showing up of 3 to 4 inches in southern Jefferson County, a little more in the 1 to 3 range. And the northern side here of the metro, it looks like, has been the trend. But even some higher amounts showing up into Harrison County as well. In fact, we're getting reports now that even parts of 65, I believe it is, into Hardin County being closed off here, the northbound flow, just because of high water. Happens a lot when you get down closer to the Salt River impacts, moving out of Hardin County, head north into Beloit. The salt may be climbing. I don't have an entire high gauge. What'd you get, Ryan? Ryan Smith's on here from Facebook. 3.45 in Pioneer Village, 3.55 in Rineyville. Crispy, these are estimates, the colors, but the numbers I just showed you were gauges. Those were actually gauges in the area. Cameron, I wonder how JCPS was able to get these kids home. Well, that's the good news, Cameron. I'm glad you asked that because we saw the one bus that was going on by. But you got to keep in mind as let me get on to more of a current radar view. Is the rain? This is the backside here of this tropical moisture. We've got another hour of the moderate to heavy rain, and then we'll ease out of it. And there's no doubt schools are going to be letting out in the middle of this still. There could still be some high water closing some of the roadways. That yellow tape we just saw there, where Logan was reporting from, that's possible. That could alter some bus routes. I think that's your biggest likelihood, is that bus routes could be slightly altered, only in some areas of town. But I'm sure they have this always factored in a backup plan whenever this takes place, about where to go if, say, A road is closed, take B road to get home, kind of thing. So I'm sure they're working on that right now to make sure the kids get home safely. What you can do, though, for everyone else in town, is if you don't have to venture out, just don't. Let the schools get the buses rolling out, make sure they get everyone home safely. For those that do have to be out, have no choice. Some have doctor's appointments. They've got jobs they have to be at and have to travel for. There is not much of an option for them. They have to be on the road. But if you just need to go out and go get some Oreos or a thing of milk, that can wait, right? That can wait until later on this evening. That's not something that you really need to add into the mix on the roadways right now. So the more that we can reduce some of the traffic, the easier it is for everyone to space out a bit more, and everyone can see safely to get to where they need to for the ride home. Let me run down real quick some of the latest that I'm getting. Let's see. Water rescue reported. Got a report on the way there. This is going to be Brook at Cardinal Boulevard. This is the viaduct near U of L. Water rescued, reported there at looks like Medford Drive as well. We mentioned about I-64 and to Hardin County. If it's not shut down, at least temporarily stopped to ease some of the congestion flow coming into the area as well. And that's the most recent I've got. The streets we had earlier a lot were around the 10,500 block of Dixie Highway. You get toward West Oak, 13th, Hill Street, Magnolia, 7th, 9th, Oak, 11th, and Berman Lane there were all areas that seem to be the hardest hit from some of that flash flooding. Reminder, Wavy's at the bottom there. Wavy is going to be alerting you guys. Sometimes the alerts pop up there before I see them on my internal system here. So pay attention as Wavy pops on the screen there, so you guys have an idea of where we're at on some of the heavier amounts. Let me show you again. We're watching Logan Perrone's live feed. Let me show you that again. Hold on one second. And again, he's over there into the western side of downtown, near one of the areas, the viaducts that is closed off at the moment. So hold on one second. Let me see if I can get this to switch over for you all. All right, there we go. And again, this is over near the viaduct. I believe it was Hill Street, I believe, right? If Logan's still listening, I believe that's where he said it was. And I'm not sure if he moved or not. But you can see, yeah, the pooling of water, some of that spraying being kicked up. Yeah, someone crossed the road. Yeah, watch out for pedestrians, too, trying to cross the roadway this time of day. School letting out. Watch for the kids walking through the area neighborhoods. Pay extra attention because it is so dark out with it being so overcast with this heavy rain rolling through the area. All right, we'll keep checking back in as they make their rounds around the city here today. As we're still dealing with this heaviest of rain, I would say an additional amount of up to an inch possible as we get into this afternoon. Here's Futurecast, and this is a snapshot that gets us to about 3:30 this afternoon. And when we get to that point, we're already beginning to taper things down. It's just more of an issue of the lag that happens on drainage, which usually happens. History has told us that. So it will likely linger for the afternoon commute. We won't have the pouring rainfall rates coming down. So the hydroplaning concerns will get reduced. But the amount of water still high on some of these viaduct areas may still have yellow tape up and could impact some of the traffic flows. But if you've lived here for a while, you know exactly where those spots are. So allow for a little bit of drainage time with that, which may take all the way through this evening. Some more downpour is possible. We're not completely done with the rain. I still think we'll get a bit more. Let me check in with Logan real quick. And Logan, you're up. If you can hear me, where you're at there, there's like a headlight or a parking light that's partially on there. You can see the water pouring off.
No?
Yeah, Logan, you're on. Where are you at, buddy?
Yeah, all right. This is, again, right down the road. So I thought we were at 13th and Oak earlier. I was mistaken. This is 13th and Oak, but we're just down the street on Oak Street from where we just were. So this is 13th and Oak. I apologize to our viewers out there. We thought we were at 13th and Oak, but we just went maybe a quarter of a mile down the road, saw more tape and said, wait a minute. This is another car trapped underneath. The train tracks right there. We're now at 13th and Oak. I'll have to get my bearings to tell you guys exactly. But again, we're right down the road on Oak from earlier. So yeah, right down the road, another car. You can see the headlight just behind that yellow sign that says 11.
There's nobody in there, right?
There's another car. I am unaware of anybody in there. I did not see anybody in there. But we just saw an MSD truck pull up. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to help this car get out. But as far as I understand, nobody in that car. I am trying to confirm that with my eyes. Just it's a little dark from what I'm seeing. But again, what we're looking at now is 13th and Oak. Again, you see the train going over there. For those of you that are unfamiliar where we're at, again, this is one of those roads. It goes down, goes underneath the tracks, and when it rains, I just had gotten out of the car not long after we talked last, Brian. You know, these drains, if they're not cleaned properly, if they're not clear, like you guys have mentioned, they're going to collect water. And that's what we were seeing just down the road. And now here, actually at 13th and Oak, this one right here, same game we're playing. It's where you think you have enough room to go underneath. You think it's not that high. And sure enough, you end up with a situation like this with a car underwater, and again, we're not underwater, slowly going underwater.
Right, it's about halfway. It looks like
the water coming down.
Right. Yeah. But look at the water just pouring down. I mean, that's all just the drainage coming in from, I'm sure, the trestle from the train tracks above. But the amount of water, I mean, it's just adding to it, swimming up like filling up like a swimming pool, if you will.
Yeah, and I mean, there's little you can do at this point if you're in the water like that. I've never been in one of those situations, fortunately. I have had someone tell me about it, Brian, and again, your car's not going to get out of there on its own. So you just kind of have to, one, we have to hope and pray that there isn't anybody in there. As far as I understand, I don't see anybody, but this is about what you're looking at, folks. This is as close as we're going to be able to get. But yeah, you know, if you're there, you're stuck. There's no way out. So, folks, again, if you see a situation like this, Brian's going to tell you, I'm going to tell you, you're going to get sick of us telling you, just do not try to drive through this.
All right. Good advice there, Logan. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. And check back in if you see anything else. I'll be kind of monitoring your feed as you journey around town there, Logan. All right. Appreciate it. Logan Pro there live again at 13th and Oak, and one of the spots that's featured some of the heaviest of rain. It's one of the first storm reports we got, actually. Was in this area. We get this one almost every time we have heavy rain, but obviously you see one of the drivers that came through. Obviously the engine likely still running at that point anyway, and they just got out and bolted, which is what you got to do in that situation, get out before it gets too high. And if it gets too high, then a lot of people will just end up having to crawl on top of the vehicle and wait to be rescued. And that situation is indeed happening in some parts of the area. So please take it easy out there today. We'll continue to monitor that feed there as we journey on for the rest of this afternoon. Let me get you back to an update here on the radar. And again, most of the rain is the heaviest of the rain now sliding a little bit more to the east. Still right over Jefferson County, though. We got that moderate to heavy rain taking place right over the core of the airport. And then it tapers down. After that, okay, in about 30 minutes or so, it's going to be lighter and then even lighter than that. And then we'll ramp this all down. See a new flood advisory at the bottom. Wavy just popped it in. This is going to be for Clark, Floyd, Henry, Trimble, all the northern sections until 6:45. I'm sure they'll adjust our flood warning too at some point to some other type of an alert this afternoon. All right, let me walk you through Futurecast. We'll kind of go through this in a short-term basis here. And again, this is all very short-term. This is only just the next couple of hours. Things will begin to improve. And then spotty showers with the actual front that moves into the area as we head into this evening. And then we'll taper that down as we head a little more into the overnight. Now, this updates every hour as well. It's indicating, I think we're probably in the lower end of that 2.19, probably closer to an inch, potentially. More likely 3/4, I would say, is a little more likely that could additionally fall in areas that have already been hardest hit. But you bet, LaGrange and Frankfort and up toward Owenville and to northern areas of Henry County, you could still get over 2 inches. It is certainly possible in your area, so be aware you could be upgraded to a flash flood warning even in your spot as well if you get caught under some of those heavier pockets of rain. This is going to put some areas, folks, into the easily, 5 to 6, even close to 7-inch range. Because when I got here today, we already had 4-inch rain totals being reported just west of Louisville. So I got a feeling we're going to be running into some of those higher totals. In fact, let me check and see if the Kentucky Mesonet, I'm not sure if they have, let me switch back over to the other radar real quick. Let me see if I can get their updated totals. They update since midnight. I know that we've been showing a lot of the gauges into the city here, but let me bring up some of the other ones. Now, this is going to be our Kentucky Mesonet sites, what they have seen so far. All right, so in Louisville, it looks like a Louisville official total. I believe that's our official one here. It's coming in at 3.0 or 3.24 for Louisville. 306 looks like coming in for parts of the Shepherdsville Center, I believe it is, and then close to 4 inches into Brandenburg area as well. So again, this is the area that's going to end up probably that 4, 5, 6 inches before it's all said and done. We're going to have those kind of amounts here, very close to the Ohio River and I-64. Seems to be a common theme in the area. All right, let me put the radar back on and let me get to some of your questions that you guys may have about this particular incident. I can't do anything long term yet. This is not a normal blog post. This is just a update on the flash flooding. Technically, the flash warning's out till 2:15. Hey, Graham, I'm camping in a tent at Otter Creek. Keep an eye on, if you haven't run into issues yet there at Otter Creek, you're fine. The Ohio River is not going to be skyrocketing here. The Ohio River, it may have a slight uptick based on how this is falling in the basin, but this is not a rapid rise for an Ohio River setup. So right now you're okay, but it's just runoff, the heavy rain running down the hills nearby your area. If that hasn't flooded yet, you should be in good shape in that spot. But the campground, I'm sure, is typically Otter Creek does a good job at making sure they notify everybody if there's any issues. But keep us updated, Graham. I know you said you're going to be camping for a while out there, so try to stay dry. You got beautiful weather coming. You just got to get through today, right? Let's see. Hey, Adam, hope all is well. I know you're up there in Bloomington. Yeah, it came through real fast, right? 1.45 for your area. Let's see. If you're doing well, Samantha, hope all is well for you. Is that 3 inches you got there in Frankfort, Paula? All right, 3 inches. Brad saying they're putting up the high water signs on roads in Southern Harrison. Roads are underwater. Yeah, we have several basements too that are being reported that were flooding that we were hearing about too. They're into southern areas of Harrison County. I can't remember when that report was. Let me see if I can backtrack. But I did see that report come out for Harrison County at one point, mainly Southern Harrison too, that we were talking about. But again, just take it slow as you venture out today for the next little bit. The drainage part now is about the phase we're entering. I'm not seeing as many of the oranges and reds, and we had some deep reds too, right, in the Louisville. I'm not seeing as many of those brighter colors in the Louisville area, and that makes a big difference. All right, they're officially going with 3 points. This was 35 minutes after the hour, so it's probably the 3.24 you saw for Louisville, I think, is accurate. So this makes it the so far for Louisville. This is the 5th wettest October day on record. The number one spot is 5.91 in 2013. And the number 4 spot, to give you kind of a range there, is at 3.86 back in 2007. So that would be the next slot. We're at number 5 at 3.24. And if we get another ½ inch of rain, we could go into the top 4 spot of the wettest October days on record in Louisville. Possibly. I wouldn't rule it out. It's going to be close. May just be a bit shy of that particular mark there. But it gives you an idea. The daily record is gone. I know the daily record was like 1.64. Yeah, that's gone. Logan Perron, by the way, just to know to the team, saying he did go up and check the car that we've been monitoring. We show you that again at 13th and Oak, I believe now. I think I said it wrong earlier, 13th and Oak. And there was nobody in there. There's nobody in that car. And it looks like even the hatchback of it may be open. I'm not sure where that's maybe where they crawled out of to get out. But everyone was out of the car, so that's good. But, yeah, that car's a goner, right? That's the bad side of this. We'll be monitoring this feed throughout the afternoon, too, to see how much of that begins to recede down as those heavier bands of water. Let's see. We have other crews kind of just scattered about. I'm checking in to see if there's any other changes with them. We had so many reports. We got everyone scattered. And of course, the jackknife semi that's on 64 West at the Waterston did not help any. It really messed with the traffic flow. So that's going to be a big problem for the afternoon, probably. The camera was down there. I don't think we've got a feed of that I can see. The camera was down there, but either way, that is just a really congested spot anyway for afternoon commutes. And I don't know if we'll get it out of the way or not in time. But just a heads up that 64 is going to be a mess and around the malls area in the Waterston today. So make sure you just hang tight there, right? How much rain in the Simpsonville area? I don't recall your number. Let me pull it up there real quick for you. See, Simpsonville, I don't have an actual number near there, but Shelbyville is 3.5. So you're over 3, I'm sure. Easily over 3 there, Stephen. Let me get the comment off. Let's see another alert. There, in fact, there's a Shelbyville flooding report. 300 block of old Beachdale Road is closed. So there you go, Stephen. That just popped in. I'm from Wavy. Tater Tot, how will Louisville be around 4:30? We'll be drying out. I don't think we'll be dry, but we'll be drying out as the rain will be much lighter by the time we get into the 4 o'clock window. And really over the next 30, 45 minutes, it'll be tapered down a lot. Officially, the flash flood warning has the considerable tag on it. Is set to expire at 2:15. My guess on this is that if they don't extend the flood warning out, which it'd be just a base flash flood warning, they may do that for a bit longer, but we'll likely have advisories that will go out for a while. Okay, so it's probably going to be a long tapering down of this as we evolve through the rest of this afternoon. Low visibility reports from Wavy still kicking in. That rain is cold, ZK says. You're right, it is cold. Cold rain coming from up above there. Tropical in nature, but cold, and it's up above our heads. Let's see, 4.5 in St. Regis. Is that right, Mike? 4.5, 4.5 inches. Yeah. You're one of the spots, I think. I mean, look at the radar trends. Let me switch over to our more definitive Doppler here. There we go. And get it right into Louisville. So let me stop this so you can see it. All right. So to kind of get your bearings straight here, let me come on, stop. There we go. Here is downtown Louisville right here. You get into, here's the Highlands right in this area. Here's the Middletown area, moderate to heavy rain falling all in that area around Bowman Field. And then you got moderate to heavy rain in Fairdale, PRP, Valley Station. Now moving back into Okolona, a little bit lighter, into Heritage Creek and Mount Washington, not as heavy, and lighter on the other side of the knobs as well. Now, let me clear off my lovely artwork, and let's kind of animate this just in the past few moments. And you can see that in general, it's kind of training over the same spots. The northern and southern parts, not as much yellow, right? It started to concentrate on just this middle band that is lining up right there along from Laconia, right through the airport, all the International Highlands, J-Town, and Middletown. But it is sliding east, so eventually we'll slide right into the rest of Okolona, Highview, Fern Creek. It'll all just kind of sink down. May miss some of downtown Louisville on the heavier rates. That will help the crews out a bit on that end. So I like seeing that trend, but it will likely continue, though, for the rest of Jefferson County. And as you guys know, this is a pretty low-lying area, right? Fairdale, Valley Station, parts of Okolona, a lot of low-lying areas. So if your creek is out of its banks or flooding there, or you got basements that tend to flood, check your basement. This was a rapid rise in water, and we've had a very dry ground as of late. So I'm sure that some of the cracking of the ground when you get into a drought scenario like that can sometimes cause bigger issues along the side of foundations and homes. And you may, a minor issue that was there could be exposed going from that cracked, dry look, desert look, to a rapid increase in flash flooding. You could rapidly end up with problems in your basement. So if you haven't looked at your basement yet, go down and just do a quick little check. Make sure things good in that area. But we're on the other side of this now, starting to slowly dial it back. Slowly dial it back here. Right at 3 inches in Radcliffe. Angela, you had, what, 1.5 inches earlier, I think, when you're on the blog, right? So you've doubled your total from earlier today. Okay. Let me get into a little bit of a wider view for those watching. I'm not trying to discount all the other areas. I'm just trying to focus on the danger part of it being flooding in an urban setting. The amount of cars that get stuck, that rate increases rapidly. versus being away from the city limits. So right now, you see it's been fairly light in patches in central Kentucky, but this final wall here is tilting almost like you would on the what we call the deformation band of a snowstorm, right? The backside of a winter storm does the same kind of behavior, same with this low pressure. So this will be the curl that will kind of curl by and swipe right across central Kentucky with probably another quarter to half inch of rain as it moves on by. But this is not going to be an excessive amount. The excessive amounts of rain at 2 inches plus per hour, I don't see that sign anymore in some of the radar interpretation here. So I think we're past that danger. Now we're just in a situation where the rain that's falling is just aggravating what happened earlier and preventing a more steady fall. But once we get these rains to lighten up, which we're almost there, within the hour, we'll have lighter rainfall rates. And but the wet roads, a lot of the spray that gets kicked up by the semis that go by, that's going to be the case all afternoon, even for the afternoon rush. That will still be the case. So just take it easy out there. All right, let me show you the 12-hour outlook real quick, and then I get some of your questions. And if you are good, I may jet back and get back to working on the afternoon outlook and back to working on the longer term setup. But at least wanted you guys to have an idea of where we stood. I'll bring up the double boxes here on this. Hold on 1 second so you guys can see that live image where Logan is. Get 13th and Oak is where he's at. All right. Jeffersonville Library has water coming through a window. All right. Well, hopefully get that sealed up pretty quick, ZK. Let's see. Clean up there in Bloomington. Valley Station is flooding fast. Rain still coming down there. Thanks, Memphis. Appreciate that. Update. Watching Owensboro. Appreciate you watching over there. Madison should not be in a flooding situation right now. Your terrain for one is helpful, but you're not into the heaviest of rates like the Mimi's. Is it Mimi's? I guess Mimi's. Mimi's, you have the right question. Just imagine this was all snow. I was thinking that. Seriously, I hope everyone's okay. I know we've got a lot of flooding. You see another wavy report. This is near the Waterford community off Highway 44 in Spencer County. Water and some debris in Plum Ridge Road. That's not far from Brashears Creek area of some of the water going over the roadway there. So again, just take it easy as you travel. Again, we're going to be tapering this rain chance down as we evolve the rest of the afternoon. And hopefully we'll be able to get some good news too on everybody who was on that plane at Bowman Field that went off the end of the runway and landed on the Seneca golfing course when that took place earlier today. Really in the heart of some of the heaviest of rain is when that happened. All right, guys, I'm going to run for now. We're going to be monitoring this. If anything else develops urgently, we'll make sure to pass it along for you all and get that to you. Otherwise, I'll have another update coming up at 1:50 on the TV side. I'll be on there with another update. And obviously, today on Wave News at 3, a complete rundown of how things are trending here on this alert day. All right, everyone, take care. I'm going to see you guys coming up in about 50 minutes from now. Thanks for watching. Really appreciate it.